We've all been worried about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and while I wanted it to be great since it's Harrison Ford's last time playing the character, I have not had high expectations for it, and even though I don't typically trust critic reviews, they are awful for this movie so far, tallying to a 47% on Rotten Tomatoes. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and to the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon or a supporter via YouTube memberships. So we still have about a month and a half until this movie releases at the very end of June, but it did premiere at the Cannes Film Festival. There are a ton of different people who have seen it and who get to review it early, and unfortunately, it doesn't seem like they liked it since they are raking it across the coals right now. It is currently sitting at a 47% critic with 19 reviews, but if we go to top critics, it is only at a 33%, and like I mentioned, and like I have talked about many times, I typically do not trust critics, right? Because half the time they're shilling over awful films, and the other half they're attacking movies when fans love them. But this time around, I am really leaning towards they are not lying. The trailers for this film have been pretty mediocre at best, and the rumors we've heard have been extremely worrying. Hearing that they have re-edited it multiple times, practically pushed Indy out of the spotlight, and have done their best to set up for future spin-offs instead of giving him the send-off he deserves, made it seem like there would be problems, but these scores are just sad. So, reading through a few of them, the first one on this list says there are so many chase sequences that the movie seems held together by slender bits of plot rather than the other way around. Worse yet, they're so heavily CGI'd that they come off as grimly dutiful rather than thrilling or delightful. All they've really highlighted in the teasers and trailers are chase scenes, and I love a good chase scene, right? We definitely need at least one or two for an Indiana Jones movie. But yes, this is Harrison Ford's last time playing this character, and unless they decide to do like prequels when he was younger, we're not going to see this character for a long time. And we have heard that they're trying to figure out a direction to take this franchise in without Harrison, but this is his last time playing the character. He deserved the best possible send-off, and it just doesn't seem like he's getting that. The de-aging and other CGI manipulations of Ford's body only serve to demonstrate that Dial of Destiny just wants to turn back the clock instead of doing anything new. We already knew that they were going to be heavily CGIing him in the movie. They're also CGIing half the people in this movie, let's be honest, but we knew there was going to be a lot of CGI and a lot of, visual tricks. And I've been very worried about it, and the CGI that we saw in the trailers months ago definitely looked pretty mediocre. Of course, people tried to argue that, maybe these are just for the trailers. It's not done. We still have a couple months until it releases. But this is the content that we're getting. Harrison Ford finds a fitting end to one of cinema's greatest action heroes and one of the most iconic roles of his character with this film. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is a thrilling, action-packed swan song for the iconic character, yet even this more positive review is only giving it a B. There are no A scores here. A 2 out of 5. The jokes, the zest, and the exuberance just aren't there, so instead of a joyous send-off for our beloved hero, we get a depressing reminder of how much livelier his past adventures were. When they originally announced Dial of Destiny, I had a very bad feeling because, of course, Harrison Ford is older, this is his franchise, and I am someone who would rather them not make new content if it's going to be bad. I love new content. I love Indiana Jones, but I would have rather them not made anything else and embarrassed Harrison Ford and this character and given another bad addition to this franchise if this is what we were going to get. One of the major reasons why this movie was made, besides the fact that it's a cash grab on the franchise, was to be a final goodbye to Harrison Ford and his time playing this character, because Crystal Skull was so bad they didn't want to end it there, but it seems like this is just as bad. At best, this is a goodbye cash grab to Indiana Jones, and at worst, it's a filler movie to set up the next era of the franchise. Indiana Jones is a dutifully eager but ultimately rather joyless piece of nostalgic hokum. The good news is that it's not as poor as Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. The bad news is that it's not much better. And we've all been pretty worried about this movie. I mean, I've talked about it a few times at this point. The trailer made a mockery of the title hero, seemed to forget the events of Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade. It just seemed like they had very mediocre writers on this who did whatever the hell they wanted without knowing the history of Indy. So bizarre. But, at the film festival, Harrison Ford did get a 5-minute standing ovation. Some people online are kind of roasting him over this because it is a shorter standing ovation than some people get. I mean, even recently Johnny Depp got, a 9-minute standing ovation for the French film of his that is coming out in a few months. But this is really sad to see that they have given him, this mediocre send-off. Even the latest trailer that they posted onto the official Indiana Jones Twitter account has gotten pretty destroyed. People are saying things like, what about those critic reviews? Look at how awful they're doing. What did you expect when you put an old guy in the middle of the screen as the main character? And of course, there are some people who are still very excited for it, and I want to be hopeful for it. I wanted this to be so good, but it didn't seem like it was going to be. And I'm glad that my expectations were not extremely high for this movie, because of course it's another Kathleen Kennedy film. I mean, Kathleen Kennedy has been killing every franchise she touches. Indiana Jones, we have Star Wars. I mean, I think it's time for her to go. We've heard some rumors that apparently they want to, give her the boot after Indy comes out. I don't quite think that's going to happen yet, because I do think they have her on a lot of projects and leading a lot of charges right now, but I really, really hope that this is her downfall. The Variety article that talks about the film festival also says regardless of how the crowd felt about the film, the biggest cheers of the night were reserved for Ford. The actor arrived on the carpet with wife Calista Flockhart, and an announcer introduced the duo as Indiana Jones and Calista Flockhart. Ford received a true movie star's welcome as thousands of fans screamed his name, and the audience in the Palais jumped up to welcome him as he set foot inside of the theater. I mean, he is a fantastic actor that's been part of many franchises that we all know and we all love. I just wish that they would have given him the respect he deserved here. From what we understood, though, it was very hard to even get him back for this movie, and people have argued that maybe behind the scenes they did have problems with him as an actor because he is older. He cannot do the things that he used to be able to do, and it limited some of the action sequences they could have done. And we have heard that could be why they decided to do so many scenes with other characters, like, of course, his granddaughter, who Phoebe Waller-Bridge plays, who allegedly was going to basically take over the franchise. Maybe that is why they decided to do so many chase sequences. There's just a lot of what ifs and could haves with this movie, and unfortunately it just seems like, yes, it turned out to be a very mediocre project in the end. Maybe it will come out and we will all absolutely love it, because critics are wrong half the time, or more than half the time, but judging by what we have heard about this film, it does seem like these are going to be pretty close to the audience scores. Only time will tell. It doesn't come out for another month and a half. But at this point, I have lost really any excitement I had for this movie, and my expectations are extremely low. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this and of course found it important and informative, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.